Thank you everyone for being here. We're so happy to have you join us. So a couple of things we've been doing today. We are going to share some collaboration strategies between and amongst you all. And then we'll also share some strategies for how Book Creator and Canva can be tools for promoting collaboration in your classrooms. Yeah, so that's the first thing we'll do. We'll start off with a warm welcome. Then we'll talk a little bit about your all contributions to today's session. And then we'll look at Book Creator, Canva, and then give you some time to work on your own and start planning projects that, like, if you saw a good idea, you can start a Book Creator project of your own, or maybe do something that you've seen in our shared contributions deck. And then we will come back together to share as a small group before going back to the main room.
All right, so on this slide, we're actually going to use a new tool called FigJam. I don't know if you all have heard, but Google Jamboard will be going away sometime next year. So if that's a collaboration tool that you've relied on, Google is retiring that one. We do have the Canva whiteboard that we used in the large group warm welcome, but I wanted to show an alternate tool called FigJam, which we have recently approved in the district. Currently, it's open for staff to use, so we're going to kind of try that out together here, and we're working on opening it up for student access. Actually, I think probably you or school leaders at your school would need to request that via a DOTS ticket to have FigJam kind of turned on for your students. So if you click on that kind of red link there, click here to respond in FigJam, then you should be able to come into that space.
I also dumped that link in the chat for
all of you. Thank you, Chelsea. And we'll wait for, hopefully this is going to work. If not, we'll pivot. Yep, I see Mackie in there. So you'll kind of see another kind of whiteboard space. Again, very similar to Jamboard, but it actually, I think, has better features than Jamboard. You can just press the letter S once you're in there to start a sticky note and go ahead and start typing. Our prompt here is kind of more personally, what is a successful collaboration you have had this year, either with students, other staff at your building, or even in your school community? I know it's similar to the larger warm welcome question, but again, just kind of put in something that's worked for you this year, either, you know, maybe it's a classroom routine that you've established for collaboration that's worked well. The thing I like about FigJam, some features, obviously, as you're putting in sticky notes, your name is right there at the bottom. So one of the drawbacks with Jamboard was that it was really hard to tell what students were adding what content. With this, there's version history, and you can really have that attribution so you know what students are doing what. Up here in the corner, I'm actually going to start a little timer here. We'll just do it at 3 minutes. So there's some timers that you can start. That'll be going in the top left corner. And I'm going to give you some more resources once we're done here on ways that you can learn more about FigJam as a tool that you might want to use. Feel free to play around with that kind of toolbox down at the bottom. There's some stamps that are kind of fun. But again, think about our theme here today of collaboration. If you want to ask a question in here to the group, feel free to go ahead to add that. Maybe it's something that, like, how do you handle XYZ in terms of collaboration with students in your space? Got some great ideas coming in here. You can use the scroll on your trackpad to move around the canvas. There's a magnification control setting in the upper right here if you want to zoom out or zoom in a little bit. It's just a huge kind of open-ended canvas that you can work in. The nice thing, and we'll show you that next in FigJam, is it has tons of educational templates that you can start with. So as opposed to Jamboard, where you were just kind of starting with a blank canvas all the time, you can start with maybe a Four Corners model or a Frayer model or different sort of educational based templates that you can start with. Lots of magic going on. Oh my goodness. All right. Matt's been doing 3rd grade collab with PBL. Nice. Fantastic.
He's not here right now, but
Got some different things here. Zoom out just a bit. See if I can clean some stuff up a little bit. Thank you.
but yeah.
Also, on the next slide in our main deck, I shared a resource. An educator really thoughtfully described how he gets students up and running in FigJam. He does not let them loose like this with everybody in the same space. He's very thoughtful about starting with an independent activity so a student on their own can get used to the tools, and then pairing students up to collaborate in a FigJam space like this, and then finally opening it up to a larger class collaboration. So really thinking about scaffolding how they use this tool so it's not chaotic. You guys are doing a great job in here. Pete asks what PBL is. I think that's project-based learning. And if you hear that, that's our timer going off. So thank you for contributing. We've got some great ideas here. I'd love to hear, if you want to come off of mute, just kind of what your thoughts are about ideas that you've seen here, or ideas about the tool, about FigJam, or questions that you may have about it, either one. And you can keep adding some ideas, playing with some of the tools here.
Peter, I know you said it, but I didn't fully listen. 100%.
Sure. Yep.
So FigJam is approved to the district, but not for student use yet? Or?
Right. It's been turned on for staff to sign into it with their DPS Google accounts. At your school, I think what we're going with right now is having either you or your principal put in a DOTS incident just requesting that FigJam be, quote unquote, turned on for students. And then DOTS can turn on that Google sign-in for students as well.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. If you play with the little plus sign down in that toolbar on the right, you can really get some more interesting things. You can upload media to this. You can upload videos, GIFs, pictures. You can link to other media across the web. So it really does let you pull in some pretty powerful multimedia possibilities here. Students could use this as a presentation tool, honestly, to present different sort of a multimedia presentation on a topic. All right. Well, thank you for collaborating here. I'm glad it seemed to be pretty seamless. I didn't hear any grumblings or complaints about not being able to access it, so that's fantastic. Let's see if I can get back to this. All right, cool. Are we seeing the slide deck again?
Yeah, I'm presenting now.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. All right. So yeah, so this slide, I just wanted to give everyone some resources to learn more on their own about FigJam. Again, that third bullet point, it really is a nice, I think, way to start presenting this to students. If you want to check out some of those education templates, they're there, some tutorial videos, and a bunch of other great resources. If we do just decide to turn it on district-wide for students, we'll definitely let you know that. But I think at this point, kind of like how Jamboard was, if you remember, you had to actually request access for your students at your school to have access to that. And as we learn more about it, we'll probably be putting out some more tutorials and kind of resources to help you use that. All right, thanks.
All right. These are the CRE mindsets that we are going to focus on for today. We are focusing on high expectations and presenting tasks that have high cognitive demand. with multiple solutions or strategies. We are focusing on global context and using strategies that give students the opportunities to share more about their world around them in an authentic way and not just one single way. And also 2 different learning conditions, meeting in groups to facilitate collaboration and also openly talking with students about differences in social identities and individuals to enrich that classroom environment.
Thank you, Chelsea. And then this slide is just talking about us making a connection to the instructional rounds tool. And so some of you may know that groups go into schools on Wednesday mornings and do instructional rounds. There is a tool that's being used to sort of just see what's being looked at, what's being seen in classrooms. And so we want to connect to those things. And so the things we found that were most in alignment with our session today was joyful. Students use structures and routines to collaborate with peers in a way that every person contributes as part of the community and build relationships. Culturally sustaining. Students participate in teamwork and collaboration while learning and have opportunities to learn from and teach each other. And linguistically sustaining. Students leverage their multiple languages and or other cultural and individual forms of communication, utilizing language tools and other language supports.
All right, now it is your turn to share. So I'm going to drop the link for this deck in the slide too, or in the chat. We asked for all of you to have some input into this. And there are some of you that have put in some ideas. So we're going to kick that off. How do you promote student collaboration with projects, activities? How do you collaborate with other teachers and colleagues in your school? And how do you promote positive collaborative behaviors in your students? So we got some ideas from all of you and a few of our paras. So we are going to present, Pete's going to present for Miguel at West, and then we'll get to your ideas. So you can go to the next couple slides.
Yeah, so I wanted to share some pictures of Miguel's library at West High School / middle school. I just think that he has a very inviting library, and in any space where folks are going to want to collaborate, whether that be staff or students or staff and students, it's got to be like an inviting place for folks to want to enter. And I think that I'm just always really impressed with what Miguel has going on in his library. It's a very welcoming environment, which I think we all know can be really difficult for middle schoolers and high schoolers sometimes to see and to recognize. And Miguel has done a really good job of, in this slide, just kind of pointing out some of the ways that he makes it an inviting space. I think two things that he does that I don't think will work in every library, but I like really appreciate and love about his library is that he has a lot of incense diffusers all over the library. Sorry for the sound if you hear hotel sounds in the background. I apologize. But he has incense diffusers everywhere, and he also has like music without language always playing in the background. So like jazz or classical. He really has like a Starbucks vibe going on. And I just wanted to share that. And I kind of wanted to celebrate his space too, because every time I go in there, even if it's just been like a really hectic day, like I feel like my anxiety levels just decrease because of like the smell and the environment. And it just puts me in a better mood. He's highlighted some of the things that he does. He has student artwork in there. He decorates like in a very fun way always. If you want to go to the next slide to see, yeah, he's got a pumpkin spice theme going on. Exactly, Peter. And he keeps it really, really clean. Every time somebody like leaves a space, like we've literally been meeting, having one-on-ones, and then someone will have like left a chair and he'll like get up and he will like immediately go sanitize that space. And I think that people see that and they appreciate that they know they're being in like a clean environment. And I think just generally he makes a really, really happy space. They do have a tree in there, so that really kind of helps facilitate the calm and chill environment. But I wanted to, yeah, Matt, I think that people do, and I will, clarify, I understand that sometimes the smells is either like not going to be appropriate and you have different opinions about those. But I just wanted to highlight that, like, if we're going to have collaborative spaces, they have to be inviting spaces. And I just really love.
All right, there are a couple links there for additional reading on library spaces that Miguel wanted to include as well.
Thanks, Chelsea.
All right.
I think I saw some hands. I'm on my phone, so I don't know exactly how to look at the questions, but we may have had questions.
Just looks like
It was clapping emojis. We were setting up some
okay.
claps. Yeah.
Oh, Apple, my iPhone just doesn't want to make me feel celebrated.
All right. John is going to help present a program from Polaris.
Yes. Can you all hear me okay? I'm testing out a new earbuds. Okay. So I was talking with the music teacher at Polaris, and she was telling me about a hip hop unit she did and wanted to talk about how that all worked. Would you go to the next slide, please? All right. So in talking with the music teacher, she said we had a hip hop unit, and I used the library's inspiration for finding the words to use in rhyming books and in elementary school books for a cadence to put behind, the words to put in front of a hip hop beat. And so this collaboration came about just with one of the regular units. They used UStudio. It's from Music First Elementary. And the optional other software that is free to use is BandLab. And so what they did is, I have a selection here of Pete the Cat. Felicia, would you mind clicking on the music icon, please? Sorry, technical difficulties, hold on. If not, I can get it to work from mine, if that's all right. All right.
Because I'm not able to click on it doesn't link to anything, I don't think. So I'm going to let you take over if that's okay.
Sure. I'm going to do this.
And yes, Peter, I think it works on Chromebooks, the free version.
Okay, let's try this.
Pete the Cat and the New Guy by Kimberly and James Dean. Monday, Pete wanted to say hi, but he was feeling kind of shy. So we just rode by and by and by and by. Till finally, Pete got to meet the new guy. On Tuesday, Pete and Gus go walk down the street. There it came to a squirrel who was playing in a tree. Hi, Gus, said the squirrel. Climbing is easy. Try and see.
Okay, that worked, right? Okay, good. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. So there's also a picture of some of the selections of library books that kids could choose from. Anyway, just a small smattering of those. But it was a really cool collaboration between music and libraries to have the students create their own content. And then the students went around the room in a gallery style to show off what each one of them had done.
That's
Pete, did you have a
awesome.
comment?
No, I didn't. More phone confusion. My bad.
Oh, okay. I would imagine parents would eat that up as well if you could somehow get that, those links or whatever out there for parents to access. Yeah.
All right. Mackie, if you would like to share about STEAM Field Day at STEC.
Sure. So we were looking at doing more collaborative pieces and showing the actual tools that we have in our STEAM lab, because a lot of times I don't think that they don't get used enough. So we're working with my other specials team to kind of like PE has field day. Why can't I? So we're going to do it. We were thinking in December during Hour of Code week, but I'm getting pushback from my 4th grade math teacher. I think he's right there. Because he wants to do it after CMAS, which if that has to happen, then that's okay too. So anyway, there's just links to some of the projects that we're going to do. We're going to do one giant collaborative build with like Make Do and some other things like that. So anyway, it's pretty simple, but it should be really fun for the kids, and they're excited.
That looks awesome, Mackie.
That sounds super fun. I want to come. So tell me when you fully decide to do it, because I'll be there.
Okay. Well, that was one of the things on the next slide is like getting like,
where academic deadlines meet the
right, and making sure that we have everything, and also reaching out to like my digital coach now is Matthew, and like inviting them and some people from the community and stuff. So, and I did have a situation this summer where I at Summer Connections where I tried to use the Spiros that we have, and they took away the app on the Chromebooks. So being prepared for all of that and doing the testing ahead of time to make sure, because that was frustrating. Because you're like, it was
with the new management system we have for Mac and iOS devices, that Mosel. I think they're coming up with an easier way for folks to get apps on iPads, especially. Isn't that right, Felicia, with like QR codes or something? So they are trying to streamline that.
Yeah.
It's much easier. It's just you would have to do it to get through Dots now because they're managing everything. Yeah.
Well, and we did it through the Chromebooks before. I did it through the Chrome store. And then I got that message. Wah, wah. But whatever. You are trying to use a third party, blah, blah, blah. But just making sure that all of that is in place. Because, I mean, Dots are there to help. I mean, I totally believe that they're there to make my life easier. So as long as they know and I ask for help, they'll do that if they can.
Thank you, Mackie.
Awesome.
Sure.
Sounds super fun.
I just have a quick question. So
yeah.
besides making sure the apps are there, were there any other pieces of that preparation that were like clutch or key that you found out? Like, did you have a ton of volunteers or?
I'll have parent volunteers, I'm sure. This year I also have a, sometimes I'm like, well, how come there's like classroom parents and I don't have a parent champion? So this year I do. I have a library tech parent.
Yay!
Coordinates everything, like is helping with like book fairs and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I need one of those when I would see how much they do for the classroom teachers. So we have an art parent, we have a music parent, and they probably don't do as much on their plate as the classroom parents, but things come up. So I'm gonna have them help me with that.
Perfect. All right.
Oh, and go back 1 second, Fish, because there's like, Felicia, sorry. I'm like pointing at, like you can see me. So we made the giant wind ball at my school in Santa Fe, and it was like 10 feet tall by the end of it. I mean, it was really cool.
Well, that's
so we're gonna make that, but I'm gonna get DPL to cut out the cardboard because I don't want to do that. So, and they have those like laser cutters, and they can just do it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So we'll connect them and make the ball, but I'll have DPL do that first.
All right, Matt, would you like to share about collaboration at Corey?
Sure. So the first one is it's sort of a school-wide collaboration. We did One Book, One Corey last year. So the PTA bought every kid in the school a book. Last year we did Planet Omar, Accidental Trouble Magnet by Zanib Mian. And so there was an interactive tech website. You can click on it, and it was just connected to my tech website. And I collaborated with a committee on it, and we went in and found resources for the whole thing. We found like interviews with Zanib and like pictures about her and different things. Oh, that one's gone. Tours of different Islamic spaces, because it happens in England, it's set in England, or UK. And then also, if you scroll up just a little bit, a little bit more, right there. We also, each chapter, we had a parent or teacher read aloud on video so that they could see it. They were read aloud in class on the screen so that everyone could read it together for younger kids. And then on each read aloud or each chapter section, if you click on the 18 through 23, this is in the last year, there were different resources and games and videos and stuff that related to each chapter of the book, or each set of chapters of the book. And I did most of the technology side of that, and then all the teachers had like a paper kind of version of questions and stuff like that. And then also there was like a school-wide art project. If you go back to the slideshow, that one of our paras cut out 400 and some odd scales for the dragon, because there's a blue dragon in the story that he imagines. And so each kid did like their own window or mirror about what they saw themselves in the story, or if they saw somebody else in the story. We had a kickoff assembly where I dressed up as a giant blue dragon. That's me in the picture there. And each kid got like a tiny dragon from Amazon. That's from part of our budget and stuff like that too. It was a committee of parents because the PTA was involved. They did all the book buying, and then we bought it through Scholastic. So we had like some money of mine and some of theirs. And then the teachers were all involved because they all got the collaboration of the resources and then teaching it in class. So yeah, that was all kind of there. Also, just fun fact, that was not all just me. That was already kind of set up when I came into the job last year. They had been doing it before, so they kind of had an idea of what to do. So it wasn't, I just want to say, like, there was already some structures there that were nice to have setting up. If you click one more time, here's another thing. There you go. Also, and then this is what I wrote down on the little sticky notes. I've been collaborating pretty hard with third grade. They have 3 different teachers that do a science thing at a time. So there's like force and motion, global connections, and weather and climate. So I've created like a PBL, a project-based learning thing for each section, and then their classes come. So like the bottom left-hand picture there is we did pendulum painting. When we're talking about forces in motion, they built a pendulum and then painted with it. Second grade, I've been collaborating with them. They do projects around water, which is the top picture. So they test water on pennies and see how many drops they can do. And then as a special project, I borrowed the Kiva planks from district last year, and we talked about the winter solstice and how Stonehenge has like a place where you can see winter solstice. So all the kids collaborated and built their own Stonehenges there too. So but yeah, and then we have like a STEAM night that's coming up in November. That's a committee. We have a literacy night that's in the spring, and spooky story night, which is on the 26th in October. So yeah, all those big collaborations.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing all that, Matt.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to expect to see the dragon costume next time I come.
Done, Chelsea. Done.
I think Julie Malik is having trouble getting in, so I will share what she's got here for us. Julie prides herself on having the largest manga collection in the district, and every time I go, she's like, "Is mine still the biggest?" And I'm like, "Well, there are a few schools that are getting close up to you, but I think it's still the biggest one." So she makes sure to purchase books that the students are asking for, and she does a really good job with that. Her library space is a space for everyone. There's always a bunch of kids that are in there. There is actually kind of a classroom space in there too, but their Latinx Student Alliance it looks like they hosted a Latoria lunch, so that's really awesome. But she also has a really cool like DJ sound booth in her library that the students love to use. And it has a special name, and now I can't remember what it's called. And then she did have an author come to visit, and now she wants to do a mental health symposium. So she's working on something so that she can get some other speakers in to talk to the kids. So she's really trying to make an impact there at Manual and make it relevant for all of those students. If you scroll down, there's her picture of her wall of manga. And then she's got a friend that cuts out all of her shelves are labeled with these like fiberglass letters. And so he cuts them out for her and does that. So she really does she's a lot of manga. And her building invested in additional shelving for her last year. So there's the luncheon, it looks like, and then there's the classroom space, that picture on the bottom. I don't think there's any manga that she's missing. She's got just about all of it. And I believe that is all of the things to share. Is there anyone else in here that would like to share anything? Going once, going twice.
Michelle, any cool stuff to share?
Michelle does a really cool books and breakfast. So when she gets new books in, she does breakfast for the students. All right. Well, we have some more things to share with you. Oh, Michelle's having issues with her mic. So she also Julie just joined.
Sorry, I got the wrong link.
All right. Well, you were in the main one, and then I just bragged about your wall of manga. But if there's more that you would like to share, feel free.
Are you talking about in terms of collaboration or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the slides kind of say it all. It's trying to make a community space where everyone feels comfortable. And the area, we have a rap lab.
That's what it's called, the rap lab.
That was funded by CU Boulder.
Thank you for sharing, everyone that shared out. We are going to move to the things that we have to share with y'all. first thing we wanted to share is just some good news about Book Creator. We will be getting the premium version for Book Creator for the whole district for just this year. We had an offering, I believe it was from Google, to purchase one tool that they would pay for the year. And we did a little internal voting, and Book Creator came out on top, which was really exciting for us. And so what that means is that you're not limited to the number of books, and you can also use the collaboration feature, which is part of the premium package, in which like different students can get into the same book and collaborate on the same book. So that's our good news. It's not, I don't believe as of today, because this is just like a few days old, this news. I'm not sure that it's working right now. I have created a collaborative book at the end that y'all could look at, but I did the free trial for now, but it should be available fully ready to go for y'all in a couple of weeks, and we'll send out some communication when it's ready. There are a couple of links in here on just how to use the collaboration feature and best practices for that on this slide. So you can take a look at that later. We're going to kind of go through some ideas for you and then give you some time to work on your own.
Julie, we're going to explain what Book Creator is and go through all of it.
Yeah. So Book Creator is just a digital tool in which students or teachers or anyone can create their own books. And you know, you can share them digitally, or there's even like the ability to publish them. Some schools actually create their book from some of these for their students, or run a contest and actually will make print books out of these if they, or they can stay digital. This page will just show you everything you need to know about signing up. It's super easy. We all did this recently, like as a group, and it probably took us about half an hour. So you just kind of get in there, log in, create a class library, and then there's lots of templates, which I'm going to show you on the next slide. So these are just a few template things that that I sort of selected for y'all to just see, and I kind of tried to gear it towards teacher librarians, any tech teachers that might be in here, and lessons by grade level. So this very first link that I'm in here, let's share this tab instead. Read now. So what this does is like basically it's a whole book on how to practice in Book Creator by grade level. So the 9th through 12th, just select that, but you would go in and it basically guides the students on how to use all the tools, and gives them that template that's a little more geared toward their grade level. But in doing this activity, they would learn all about how to create in Book Creator. Then there's this teacher librarian book template I thought was really great. Let's see, am I sharing this? I just want to double check I'm sharing the right tab. Yep. So this actual book has so many good ideas for teacher librarians. And so the whole entire book is just filled with ideas for things you can do with the Creator. And we'll give you all some time to explore some of these things, but yeah, just a whole lot of ideas out there. And then if you click on the link where it looks like the bookshelf, this are just lots of different templates, and you can click on any of these to get ideas for what you could do. So that is a little bit of some things we just wanted to share with you about this awesome tool that we really like. And there's even more. So I'll hand it over to Jen.
So in case that wasn't enough, we do have things that we came up with as well. And then there's also what Book Creator has for ideas. And you don't have to use a template. You can just start with blank pages and fill in the back. One of the templates that one of the pages I found was actually sheet music. So you could even start writing on a whole bunch of sheet music. There's graphic novel adaptations. You can create a zine. And we were thinking about how you could use this with your students, with your different classes. And there's several different ways that you can go about this. You guys also know your school so well, so this might just be me preaching to the choir, but you can have individual students each make a page, like each one submits a recipe that they like to do, and then you have a class book of recipes. You can also have your students collaborate on a single recipe. What comes first? Do you have your ingredients first? You know, for elementaries, do you mix it first? Like, how do you do this? So there's lots of different things that you can do. You can have some hero biographies. Each one submits something. You can make your own hero. What does that look like? There's lots of different things that that you can use for this. And then the other great thing that we were looking at is there's different language options. And it can, I've linked a couple of things down there if you to peruse at your own time. There's read aloud language options, and there's also text. So how it works is it usually uses your default language, which usually comes from your browser, or you can change that in Book Creator itself. But there's different ways that you can play with it, and it was lovely for us to spend a lot of time just playing around with it. Let's see. I think, well, I'll let others talk about their other ideas that we could use for this, but in case you need to get started, that's what this one's for.
I just had a quick question. I think students can record audio as well, so they could narrate the page and have that audio clip in there. Okay.
That's right. Yep.
We also just wanted to mention Canva. If you attended the last librarian focused PDU, we talked more intensely about it then. But Canva would be another way that students can collaborate. Obviously, reading itself is collaborative. We are engaging with the authors of those texts, and we're also being collaborative by recommending those texts and discussing those texts with peers, with staff, with other people in our community. I think one great thing about Canva is the book recommendation templates that they have. Book recommendations can be something that people are doing by themselves, collaborating with others by recommending materials to other people. But there are also things that folks can do together as a collaboration in and of itself, where we print off these Canva templates, where we're engaging with the Canva templates on our Chromebooks, and we are at the same time contributing to a book review. What did we like about it? What did we not like about it? We're going to discuss what we think we would change about the text, what questions we have about the text. We all just wanted to, and if you click on each one of these templates, it'll take you.
Hey, Pete, can you pause for a sec? Yeah, he's buffering pretty hard there.
Yeah, so I think we'll go ahead and
to the templates themselves. Some of them are even geared towards Instagram, the cute one in the left-hand corner. If that's something that you're allowed to do, that's an option. We also wanted to bring up Canva though in this context, because Canva and Book. Thanks. And look, now I'm over here. Can everybody hear me? Is that better? Okay. I just, all right. I don't know what you all heard or what you didn't hear, but I was talking about Canva. And Canva is a really great tool for us to create professional grade graphic designs, and with maybe not having professional grade abilities. And I think if some of you have heard us talk about Canva before, especially if you attended our last library focused professional development session. But I think one thing I really like about it is the book review templates. These are things that can be collaborations in and of themselves. Obviously, reading is a collaboration, but these are things that students can both we're collaborating by I'm reading a text and recommending it to a peer, to a adult or somebody else in my community. But this is also something that literally can be done as a collaboration. We can be filling out a book review at the same time as our peers. What did we like? What did we not like about this text? We also wanted to bring up Canva, though, in talking about Book Creator, because Canva has recently announced a partnership with Book Creator and Canva have recently announced a partnership. And so in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that can take you to more information. But we know that students really like using Canva, and it's a way for them to make really pretty things. Just this past week, I was talking to one of our high school interns, and I was showing them all of the different Adobe options that they now have access to. And then they were like, you know what, I'm just gonna use Canva because I know I can make really great things on Canva. And I was like, you know what, I bet you can too. So we know that Canva is something that people really like to use. I also wanted to bring up one thing is that, and we just literally learned, or I just literally learned about this like last week. So this is more just if folks in this session want to learn more about this, but we just learned that Sora can actually host local content so that it's possible, and no one has done this yet in our school district, and we don't really know how this would look, but I just wanted to mention it to everybody here in this room that it's now possible for us to, like, theoretically, we could have students make ebooks and then we could house those on Sora. Theoretically, students could make audiobooks and we could house those on Sora. Again, I'm just mentioning that without having any real details about how that would work, but if I think that all of us would love for someone to begin that conversation or to say that they are interested in doing that. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that as well here.
Matt, that's a great question. As far as I know, it's a tool that we're going to stay with. Canva, that is. Matt was asking, is like, are we really sticking with Canva before we invest heavily in this? I haven't heard differently. I know some of these tools like, yeah, we've got it for a year. Have you heard anything different, Felicia, or?
I haven't. And so the thing that Canva has done, and this all depends on them, right? Because they make so much money with their business version of Canva that they have made it available for free to educational institutions. And so we have a partnership with them. You have to sign like a partnership with them, but our district has done that. So as long as they keep it that way, we will keep getting, like, taking all the resources they want to offer.
Julie, do you want to speak more about what you particularly found challenging about?
You're on mute, Julie.
You're muted.
Thanks, sorry. I actually had a question about Book Creator too. In terms of investing time in learning it, like if it is something that, I mean, is it very expensive if a school wants to buy it next year if DPS doesn't do this again?
Yeah, I'll actually put in a link to the pricing. I don't think it's too expensive. And there's a free version in which you get like 40 books as a teacher. But and that's always going to be the case. So you can continue with that. The premium version allows you more books in your library at one time. But it also lets you have that collaboration piece, which is the thing that really I think we were wanting to pay for. But let me send some pricing information. I'll drop it in the chat.
I just quickly chatted our kind of DOTS colleague, who's our Canva kind of administrator and expert, and she says, like Felicia said, they've committed to making it free forever for education purposes. So
I'll come off on the microphone to say yay Canva for that.
Are we ready to move on, or do folks have other questions? I want to make room for that. Okay. So now we're going to have some time to play around with Book Creator. I believe on the next slide, we have a link to a Book Creator collaborative book that we can play around with. If you also want to play around with Canva, feel free to use that time to do that as well. People are going to stay in this room. If you have any questions, if you want to share anything, any other comments or concerns you want to use this time for. And yes, Julie, we can share the slide deck with you.
And just a background, like, so we are going back to the main room in less than 10 minutes. So sorry, you're not going to get too much time to play, but if you want to look at the resources, you can spend your time doing that. If you find something that you think is great or just want to add a couple of notes into this collaborative book so you can experience it as a student, you can do that. So however you want to spend the next few minutes, please do that. And then we'll drop the link into the main room at 1:45.
I have to go answer the door for conferences. But I should tell you, I used Book Creator for my SLOs last year, the free one.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, the free version lets you have maybe 10 or 15 kind of books on your teacher shelf, so you can get creative and kind of like rotate those through. But like Felicia said, the premium does allow the collaboration, which can be a really cool feature. You could have 2 or more students actually writing a book together or putting something together in a collaborative manner.
So I'm going to play with it, but just getting a sense, is it something like if a student wanted to create a graphic novel that we then printed, is that something we can do with that?
It is something you can do. You'd have to pay for printing, but I think they have like an easy way for you to just say, I want to publish and print and pay for it. So I just looked up the pricing. It looks like it's $12 a month or $120 a year for one class.
Oh, it's
So
not bad.
really not bad. Yeah.
Thanks.
So you can have even more manga books in your collection, Julie.
Exactly. You can't have enough.